Welcome back to Take Flight Talk, everyone. Obviously, it's a great day to be a Jets fan, but there also is some, sad news. So just want to send condolences to Nick Mangold's family on behalf of obviously me, Abby, and Woody. It's a tough day. It was a tough morning for all Jet fans, pretty emotional for the team, but I think all of us on here can confidently say that, we had an extra man on the field. I feel like, that win was, tributed to him. A lot of players said they felt him on the field. I know Olu only gave up one pressure. That was something special that stood out to me. So before we even dive into the game, which obviously, there's a lot to talk about there, I think it's important, that was probably the highlight of today. So just want to make sure we send our condolences to his family. Obviously, a tough time, for them, Jet fans all around.
Yeah, I was genuinely shocked this morning because that announcement with him looking for a new kidney, I think only came out a few weeks ago. And so it already must have progressed severely at that point in time. So not a good way to start the morning. But of course, I really do feel like the New York Jets did it for him. Like the way that they turned it around in the second half. I mean, this is something we've never seen this team do. I mean, 500 yards of offense. I mean, we're going to get into it, but yes, I mean, just Mangold, everyone has said it, just a good player on the field, a legend, was with the New York Jets his whole entire career, embodies what it means to be a New York Jet. And then, so good on the field and just a good person off the field. And that is just so rare to find. So, yes, sending all my condolences. Like, literally, some of the better Jet squads that we've had, he's been a part of that. And so, yeah, it was just devastating news. And I mean, I was about to cry, and then hearing Rex Ryan talk about him too, it just straight to my heart. But yeah, sending all my love and prayers to his family.
1000%. Definitely, like you said, fantastic player on the field, even better person off of it. Um, I'll go as far as to say that the team has downright stunk without him. You know what I'm saying? Like with him, those were the best Jets teams of my lifetime. Him being the leader of that offensive line. The line has been in shambles since I would say this is, kind of the first year that it hasn't been, bottom of the barrel. And I love the fact that he, has been in the facility. He's worked with a lot of these guys. You saw Garrett Wilson's message. The current team has that relationship with him. And yeah, to hear that news, especially to Abby's point, it was 12 days after that message of, hey, I'm looking for a kidney. For me, I didn't think, like, I was just shocked that clearly he was reaching out for a reason. And it's just a super, super unfortunate that we got that news. Obviously, prayers out to his family. It's super unfortunate that they got that news. But yeah, I kind of wish we could have replayed those last 12 days. Like I don't know if anyone read that message and took it as serious as it turned out to be. So that's what kind of bothers me about the whole thing. But I mean, definitely the spirit of Nick Mangold was with the team, 1000%. And I was feeling. Once I saw the news, I said, "Oh, I think I might have to get Jets money line." But I didn't. I was nervous. So I didn't put Jets money line. But at halftime, I was like, "Damn." I guess I was just feeling gassy. I don't. It wasn't the spirit of nothing. But no, the second half came around. The O line, to Michael's point, Olu, zero pressures, Joe Tippmann, zero pressures. And that was somebody specifically who worked with Nick Mangold last offseason. So, yeah, obviously prayers to his family. And I'm happy that they were able to get a win in his honor today.
Yeah, taken way too soon. So I'm glad he's in that Ring of Honor. He absolutely deserves it, but definitely will be missed by the Jets community. Sorry about my dog there.
I think the biggest thing for me too, like what he was saying, I saw the news, and I feel like as sport fans, everyone kind of sees stuff like that, like especially on the day of a game, and like your brain kind of goes right to, oh, the team's probably gonna win, for that person. So like it wasn't even a thing where it's like, all right, everyone knew we were 0-7, but like the thing, I feel like the biggest thing with like Glenn coming back is like with how bad of a franchise the Jets have been. Like you want players like that even when they're gone, like they are still embodying what it meant to be a Jet. Like we see with Cromartie, you see with Darrell Revis, um, obviously you see with Glenn as he came back. So it was like Mangle was one of those dudes. Like he was someone I called to be O-line coach personally when the whole new coaching staff came in. So seeing that news this morning, obviously, it was devastating. But I did have that thought in my head where I was like, this team's struggling immensely. We have a new coach, a new coaching staff. It's New York media. You know how all the pressure goes. We had the whole thing with Woody. I was like, this would be a perfect time to change the narrative, and make it more of a positive thing. And then it's like, we're looking at halftime, we're losing. Didn't really look like we had too much of a chance, but I still at least felt like there was fight. And it was just like the little hope in the back of my head, like, you know what? Maybe these players, maybe Glenn could get them to, dig into a different emotional notch that they maybe didn't know they had. And that's why I truly believe that it was a spirit of him because, I mean, like we said, we had no right being in that game, in my opinion. The defense was getting destroyed on the ground. Offensively, it didn't look like, Fields looked better in the first half, but it didn't look like a lot of things, a lot of gaps were opening up. And then it's like second half, it's like that's a completely different Jet team. So I definitely want to, obviously, like we said, send condolences to the Mangled family, but I also want to give credit to Coach Glenn on his first win. Obviously, that's huge. And I think I want to give credit to Enstrom and Wilkes on the especially halftime mid game adjustments because I mean staring down at 0-8, this could have been a completely different day, especially with the news we got. But I think both coordinators did their job in terms of adjustments, and I think that was ultimately one of the biggest things we saw and why we won the game.
Yeah. I gotta, I've been defending my guy Tanner Engstrand from the beginning. And really the reason why was because you don't see what we saw week one without solid play calling. And because I feel like I know pretty well what Justin Fields is. He's not gonna be Lamar. That's what everyone's hoping. Oh, maybe one day just magically he'll wake up. Oh, he's Lamar. No, that's not gonna happen. But I'm not saying that he's Nathan Peterman. No disrespect. No disrespect to Nathan Peterman, but you know what I mean, right? I think that he's a solid QB that can be hidden. His weaknesses can be hidden with a good run game and with play action passing. And we saw a lot of that week one. We haven't seen the play action too much. And I think it's because the run game has kind of been hit or miss. But anytime, I mean, if I'm telling you, if they just get like one first down, that next, first down that they run, they should run that play action because that is where Fields is most comfortable. And I feel like, to your point, Michael, like at first they were doing a lot of screens, they were doing a lot of outside runs, but the Bengals were getting there. But then in the second half, they were like, you know what, we need to throw the football. Fields is not a traditional passer, so let's do some gimmicky things to get him comfortable, and that's exactly what happened. And he was comfortable out there. He had a solid game.
Yeah, shout out to Fields, man, because you know what? It was a rough week for him with everything, with Woody's comments earlier this week. He handled it very classy, I might add, and just said, hey, I'm on social media, kind of denied even seeing it, but the word got around that he heard it. And, mentally he's had a tough couple of weeks, you know what I mean? He was just benched, and to have your owner then say that about you and then have to come in and play on Sunday, I'm glad he didn't let Woody's comments get to him whatsoever. And you're right, Woody, he looks comfortable. And when he's comfortable, he makes things happen. And we've seen that. We got a glimpse of that. We saw that week one. And so it just unfortunately hasn't been consistent. But I do give him, Justin Fields, all the credit in the world today. He had just the pass in the end zone to was it Williams? Sorry. Was it?
Yeah. Oh no, it was Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson, yes. So perfectly placed, and he threw some tight throws. He was reading the field very well as well. On top of that, and so and utilizing his legs, not taking any sacks. I saw it coming a couple of times, and I'm like, "What are you gonna do?" He just threw it away, or took off with it and utilize what you're good at. He's good at running. And so I'm just glad at the way he performed today. And he basically said a big F you to Woody after those comments. So shout out to him. And then, I mean, Wudi, I know you probably want to talk about it, but Breece Hall put the team on his back today. And I've waited 8 weeks because I have him in fantasy for this to happen. And I get 30, like pretty much 32 points today. He just, I don't know why last week. I think he had like 11 touches last week, if I'm correct. Completely unacceptable, totally different story today. Got him super involved. He is by far one of your best players on the field. You know what I mean? You got him involved in the rushing game and then the passing game as well. And that is the Breece Hall that we know. That is the Breece Hall that we've been wanting to see, that we know that potential is there. So I just, all the kudos to Breece. I literally couldn't believe it because we've seen how terrible this run game has been the last couple of weeks. So I don't know if you guys have any other flowers you want to, there's plenty of people, there's plenty of flowers to go around this week. We all got it. But Mykal, I don't know if you had anyone else you wanted to give some love to.
Mine's more of a, I mean, if you're like just a normal fan watching, you probably didn't notice it, but something I noticed, like, I know a lot of fans, and I'm one of them. We usually, don't give Allen Lazard the most credit, but I will say, in terms of the run game today, he blocked his, what off. Like, he had a great game in the run game. Like, he was out there delivering some good blocks at open seams, even on the I think it was a jet sweep to Isaiah Williams. Pretty sure he had a pancake or something. Like, I mean, as a receiver, like, once you play football, a lot of receivers, that's the least, like, favorite part of their game. Like, they're a receiver, they want the glory, they want the yards. But that's the dirty stuff that Glenn was preaching day one. And so it's like the fact that, like, I still personally think Lazard's probably going to get traded. Like, that's just how I think it's all going to go down. But obviously, I don't have control of that. But I do want to give my flowers to him there. And then obviously, like you said with Breece, I think the coolest thing that I saw with the Breece stuff today is obviously we knew the run game stuff. Like, he has that explosiveness. You knew it could come out. But that play with the Mason Taylor, when Mason Taylor mossed him, like, we've seen all around the league. I remember maybe 2 years ago or last year, the Buccaneers ran a jet sweep pass to Mike Evans, and there was no one open. And instead of throwing it away, he threw a pick. Like, a lot of times when you put a skilled player in a situation like that, if their first read's not there, they don't understand that they have the ability to throw it away, and they will force it into a tight window. It's like, for Breece to have that field, like, situational awareness, and to basically literally put the ball in a spot where only Mason Taylor could get it because the corner's eyes weren't towards him. Like, I don't know if that's intentional. Maybe he did just throw it up and got lucky. But I'm gonna tip my hat to him because that was insane to watch. Like, I saw Breece get the ball and start running, and I was like, he's clearly, there's nowhere to go here. And then it's like, that's a perfect opportunity. And once again, Mason Taylor. I mean, I think we've all praised him since we drafted him. I was very happy with that pick. I was hoping he would turn into this, and we're slowly seeing him blossom into this, franchise tight end, hopefully. So those are the big ones I wanted to cover. But yeah, I think, Woody, it's important, you get to share your thoughts about Breece. I know you've been waiting all season for this.
I mean, hey, man, I've just been hearing too much slander about my guy. His jersey is right here in my closet. This guy he's dynamic. He is dynamic. And I think when you look ahead, and hopefully we all got the same prescription glasses, when we look ahead, Justin Fields won't be the quarterback of this team long term. And hopefully we draft that long-term QB in the upcoming draft. What are things that help QBs develop? When they're having a bad game, when they're getting flustered, a good offensive line helps, right? Having a clear number one receiver helps. And I think arguably the most important thing is a run game that can help you get yards so you don't even have to throw sometimes, that you can get first downs. And Breece is so important to that last piece that trading him, I really hope that they look at this game today and say, you know what, we got to start talking extension, maybe even do it mid-season so that it's cheaper. We can't have him, continuing to do what he's doing right now because all he's doing is driving up the price. Like that is where I need them to be at, because I think having him is invaluable. And I know you could literally say, well, like, so then why didn't he help, Zach Wilson develop? Something like that. To me, and this, could sound me, whatever, Zach Wilson was a rotten egg. Like he was never gonna work in New York. I truly believe that. I thought that before the draft. I thought that draft night, that viral video of like all the like he was like in a line of like players and everyone was like yo yo yo, and he was just like looking like, man, uncomfortable, like right, that video was a huge telltale. No one, it was a joke, but no, I was like, damn, like this dude, like, can he command a locker room? Is he a leader? And then his first quote as a New York Jet, they were like, oh, like, how you been like in New York? He was like, damn, I've been getting cut off in traffic like every day. Like it's taking me way longer to get to places because my GPS says this time, but I'm getting cut off. And I was like, yo, damn, this dude don't even have no heart. This dude getting cut off in New York City traffic. Like I knew he was a rotten egg. And I'm saying this time around, AG, he has a clear-cut mentality, right? That he's getting there, that he's striving for. And Jarvis Brownlee has it, right? We've seen Juwan Briggs has it. We've seen him bring in guys that have it. So, okay, bring in a QB that has that type of mentality, and now we're cooking because we got Brees, we got Garrett, we got Mason Taylor, we got that offensive line. I know I kind of went a little bit off course, but this is a huge roundabout Brees Hall. We need to extend that man. If I could continue with the Flowers real quick, this is a guy that is not getting enough love. He's not being talked about at all. But Isaiah Williams, everybody and their mama brought out these scissors. They was like, cut this man, cut this man, cut this man. But nah, he has come back. Electric returns, multiple electric returns today. He was the one with that end around. Oh, yes, those are the flowers. Those are the flowers that Isaiah Williams needs, because he was fantastic. Like honestly, fantastic to not only just influence the game as a returner, but then also have one of, at that point, that was our biggest play of the game, was that end around. And then he also was making catches. Like he was doing what we thought Xavier Gibson would be doing. Like I cannot say enough positive things. He was, especially, in that early part of the game, he was one of the few bright spots, and they should keep that in the playbook, because if you want anyone to have the ball in space, it's those returner type guys. And we never saw that, from Gibson, but we saw it right here with Isaiah Williams. And then my last shout out for Flowers, I'm going to have to give it to my guy, Brownlee. I feel like he has just made such a big impact in his, short time with the Jets. Titans fans were sick. They were like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing? And that's how you know. That's how you know that you get in a stud, because those Ravens fans, I've never seen so many people do a cartwheel at the same time when we signed Brandon Stevens. But with Brownlee, no, they were like, yo, what? Like they were ready to, commit riots out there. So now I'm seeing why, because he is a fantastic tackler. He was great in coverage, and he made some big plays for us down the stretch, including, ending the game.
And let me just give flowers to AG on his first New York Jets win as the New York Jets head coach, because, like we mentioned, some of the adjustments that they made. And I thought he was aggressive at the right times today. And let me tell you, too, this is something I've complained about the last 2 weeks. Not knowing how to run a 2-minute drill. I don't know what happened in a week. They must have actually practiced that this week, because we finally got it. And I just appreciated, again, him being aggressive in the right moments, knowing when to take the points. And then towards the end of the game, 4th and 1, I was like, you have all the momentum, keep going for it, keep going for it. And it wasn't just like sometimes they just got the 1 yard. They would get the 1 yard and extra on top of that. So they were just feeling themselves. They were in a rhythm. And again, it's something that we haven't seen with this team. And God knows how long. We didn't have a touchdown since week 5. I was like, there's no way this team right now is putting up 39 points. No way in hell. But I appreciate just all the grit, and the defense, again, they struggled. But you know what? They showed up when it mattered, and that was that final drive. I saw the amount of time on the clock, And I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous, and just to make the plays when it mattered really made all the difference. And I know we started off the episode kind of on a somber note, maybe just a little, but I can't tell you how excited I was with the win and everything. I'm not, you know what? I'm not on the tankathon train. Players don't tank either. I think the team absolutely 100% needed this win for the locker room and everything else. This is a good way to go into the bye week. And so I'm just absolutely so enthusiastic and happy. I knew it was coming. I didn't know at what point, but I'm glad it came sooner rather than later. Because let me tell you, the last 7 weeks, it's been heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. And yeah, I'm so thrilled. That's why you saw me in the beginning with the music. I was like, here I am getting all hyped again. So I'm just, I am so beyond proud of this team right now. I know it's just one win, but it's been long overdue. And I think all Jets fans know that.
Yeah, I'll definitely say, especially, I mean, regardless of win or loss, when us three get together, I mean, I always have a great time. I love talking Jet football, obviously, with you guys, but it is a lot more fun, when you get to experience a win. And I think, I mean, we're all fans of the game, so, the criticism will come as it should, but I think it's nice once you get to finally see the other side of it. Like, obviously, all three of us have had our own criticism towards Fields. We've had our own criticism towards Glenn. Like, I was calling for Wilkes to get fired after the first 3 weeks. Like, that's just the nature of the game. So for it to finally, flip back, just for, it's the Jets. We've been through this before. For all we know, we could come out after the bye week and stink again, right? Like, I don't want that to happen, but we've experienced that before. So
Yes.
I am fully going to enjoy this win into the bye week because the small things we did today to get the win is what you as a fan want to sit back on and just have that optimism and hope that could be a culture shift, especially with a new coaching staff. Like we said, we were in the headlines this week, not for good reasons, once again, with the whole owner situation. And it's like the fact that you had a quarterback who completely basically had his career bashed in front of everyone, go out there, put the team on his back. He did what he had to do. Glenn blocked out all that outside noise, stuck with Fields, went out there. And it's like, I think also someone we didn't bring up, having Quincy Williams back, I thought was huge for the defense, even though it might have not showed up in the stats. There were a lot of plays where I think specifically he made. So shout out Quincy Williams. But just in terms of the whole team, I think this comes at a perfect time, obviously, going into the bye week. And, I might just sound delusional because I say it every year, that the whole optimism thing. But I do have hope that maybe, like you said, I don't think the players believe in tanking. So I do really hope, one, please don't trade away Brees. I think, especially after today, he's clearly someone you want to build around. And then it's the idea that these players, I'm still waiting for the Jets to drop the locker room video to see how they all went. But from everything I saw on Twitter, that looked like a great time in the locker room. And so it's like those players were fighting so hard, like Harrison Phillips and Jermaine Johnson talked about, we want to get Glenn that first win. And it's like, now that these players feel the feeling of what it's like to win together, the idea of like, okay, now we got to strive for this every week. So I'm going to have optimism going forward that we hopefully see a new Jets team after the bye week for the second half of the season, where even if the season doesn't end well, going into next season, we have some answers. That's all I'm looking for, is just some positive answers, knowing that, the stuff we lacked week 1 through 8, Glenn and the coaching staff was able to clean, week 9 through 17. So that's my biggest thing. But, as Abby said, it's a lot more fun being on here after a win for sure.
Yeah. I can't lie. Like, if, somebody said today, like, oh, now we going 10-7. And obviously, that would be electric. That would be electric. I'm definitely not trying to tank. I've only tried to tank once in my whole fandom. Like, even the I think the big year that the fan base was trying to tank was to tank for Trevor. And I didn't want that. I was like, Darnold is our guy. I wasn't, I was hyped when we beat the Rams that game. And then, we won the next week. And then we already know what happened after that. The only year I was trying to tank was, I want to say it was 2 years ago. It was the year without Rodgers. So, yeah, that was 2 years ago. And I was like, all right, let's get Joe Alt, shore up the offensive line and, reload with Rodgers. And the reason why I was trying to tank was because we knew who our QB was and we knew the offensive line was hurting. Like, it was a clear target, to get. This time around, obviously it's not as clear. So I'm back to, the team. I want the team to win. I want the players to win. They deserve. I mean, they put in all this hard work. They deserve to win. But I am afraid. I can't lie. Like, I would be lying if I was saying that I'm not going to be losing sleep. Like, if the Jets finish, 6-11, because we already know for a fact Justin Fields is not the quarterback, like, of the future. But like, it's 6-11. He has games like this, like the rest of the time, and like, we just win some, lose some. I feel like that's enough to trick a lot of the fan base. I mean, the fan base today is saying, "Oh wow, Fields might have turned." So if he plays like this the rest of the season, I think that is enough to trick the fan base into saying, "Bring back Fields," and all this nonsense. We would have a draft pick that's outside the top 10. So yeah, this I don't know. It's tough. In real time, yeah, you want the wins, but it also would be nice to have a premium QB pick. So, but like, you think about the Giants, they got Jackson Dart, 25th. So maybe, there's not a lot of hype on my guy, Lenora Sellers. Maybe that's somebody who, he's not going to be in the top 10, but you get him, you have him sit behind, somebody, and then, he shocks the world. But, yeah, so I guess, yeah, we can win. I'm just, damn, to end 6-11, I feel like would really, really be a really shitty situation.
Yeah, and let me just make this known really quickly, because I know this happens to Wudi. Mykal, I think it's happened to you before that, like, we're so negative sometimes, you know what I mean? And let me just make it known that I am overly positive right now about I give the same energy whether this team loses or whether this team wins. So I just want to make that known how overly hyped I am right now about winning. But to my credit about Justin Fields, I've already made it known. I've been very critical of him. You know what I mean? The problem with him now is this consistency issue. We haven't seen this since week 1. You know what I mean? So again, I don't want these fans to get like tricked. And I'm glad I have not been the person yet to be like, oh, I'm on the fire Aaron Glenn train. That is one thing a narrative that I've heard going around the last couple of weeks. And I'm like, dude, do you not know how much money Wudi himself, it's no wonder that he defended Aaron Glenn so much as he did the other day, because he's making a lot of money. He's not going to let him go after a year. These aren't his guys. Give him some time to get the guys he actually wants, get the guys he wants to build around, and see how it goes from there. So I'm glad I wasn't on that train, because I knew, again, this moment would come for a while. And I'm like, this is what we've all just wanted to see, this type of progress. And let me tell you, the penalties, at least today, were at another low too. And like I said, the defense, again, for now 3 weeks, have played well. Like, and we've seen a level of consistency where I wasn't coming into this game thinking they were going to be any different than what I saw the last 2 weeks. And I'm glad I was right. And so that's, again, I think that speaks for itself. This team is coming together. Again, it hasn't been at the rate we have wanted. I don't think they're still missing parts, but it's crazy that we won this game without 2 of our most played players on the field. Like, when I was telling people, like, who scored a touchdown, I would tell them it's a nobody to you, because you're not going to know who that is. Like, no way you're going to know who Tyler Johnson is. You know what I mean? You might know Breece Hall, and that's one of the names I threw up. But my mom was like, who scored? I'm like, you don't know. Don't worry about it. We just scored. My mom bet money on this game. She's like, I bet every week. And I'm like, damn, Mom, I should have followed you and your $10 parlay you had today. I was not touching this game, by the way. I didn't put anything down.
Me neither.
And not that anything else I put down hit either. So,
me neither.
Yeah, no, I completely swung and missed on every single bet today. So
it's just there were so many lopsided games. I mean, we talked about it. Atlanta. What the heck? You know what I mean? The Niners were doing nothing. So again, a lot of little weird lopsided matchups today.
Prayers out to my guy, literally one of the most electric players, superstars in the NFL right now, Cam Scatterbury.
I told everyone, I said, I know we're Jet fans, so we don't cross that side of it, but it is still a New York team, and I continue to tell my mom, New York people, New York sports cannot succeed. It's a fact. I am fully believe there's a curse on us because, I mean, if you just even look, obviously we're talking about the Jets, we could go right back to it, but just quickly looking at the Giants, if you're telling me that you could get a full year with Jackson Dart this year healthy, with Malik Neighbors healthy, and with the way Scadaboo looked, I can almost assure you with the defensive line that team has, that is probably a sneaky wild card team. And now you
Definitely.
have Neighbors and Scadaboo at a young age with pretty crucial injuries. I mean, Neighbors obviously is getting surgery. I don't think Scadaboo is going to hopefully require surgery. But even if it does, that's two young dudes that, you have to have the risk of coming back from surgery to even get back to where they were. And it's just like, even though I am a Jets fan, I do still feel horrible because, like you said, he is one of the most electric rookies. Dart's electric. Neighbors was literally on pace to be one of the best receivers in the league again. So just seeing stuff like that, I saw his ankle. That was horrible to see. That completely sucked.
Well, they were just getting on a roll with everything. But apparently, from what I've read, it looks like it's just a dislocated ankle. So he should be back. But so kind of good news for Giants fans because you're going to need some playmakers.
Definitely didn't look good. Like his ankle was turned around like how we turned around in the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was completely around. But yeah, like he was just at the Knicks game with the scat ice, like, and they showed him on the big screen, loud ovation.
That was the thing too, because I knew the league this year tried breaking down on those illegal hip drop tackles.
Yes.
And to me, that looked like that Zach Braun dude from the Eagles. That looked like a hip drop tackle. I mean,
clear hip drop.
I don't know if you guys saw this stuff on Twitter, but the officiating in that Eagles game was atrocious because I saw.
That's a fact.
I saw multiple plays. The Thibodeau fumble recovery on the touchdown. There was an offensive play, pass interference on, I think, Slayton in the end zone. That was not OPI. Like, Dable was losing his mind, as he should. Like, that was insane.
Yeah. If I'm Dable, you're a ref of that game, you're going to have to see me in the parking lot for real. Because his job is on the line, and you out here doing crazy stuff to, really put his job in jeopardy. Like, because now, it's hard to evaluate Dable. Like you said, they have a really, really, really exciting QB, RB, wide receiver trio. So like, but they're hurt, so it's really hard to kind of to evaluate that. Yeah, I mean the Jets right now, we got the wide receiver, we got the running back. Dare I say we have a tight end. For Mason, I don't know how many plays were dialed up for him. I do want to see a little bit more out of him. Like I'm seeing my guy Oronde Gadsden out here winning me money every time he plays. I mean, he's electric. What's his dude's name? Harold Fannin, scored a touchdown. I drafted Njoku and had to drop him because of the emergence of this rookie Fannin. Tyler Warren, so this draft class, I feel like this draft class might be like the best tight end draft class we may have ever seen. Like, there's so many guys that are producing. So we have one of them. His name is Mason Taylor, but I feel like he can be doing more than he's doing. And I don't know if that's like a play calling thing. I feel like it's not, but I feel like I'm not sure what we're missing there, because he can, and his hands in these tight window situations. I mean, not only that Brees play, but the play right before it where he got stopped at the 2. I mean, that was a tough catch. It was a tough catch. So I just want to see more out of my guy, because, if we can get a franchise tight end with the O-line that we have, with the running back that we have, with the what? Yo, like there might be reasons to rejoice in one Jets drive.
Yeah, I remember after the Steelers game, I was saying it, but it was my hope because obviously, everyone's talked about it. Like we said, I think we're in a, like Woody was saying, a tough spot, because if we do, say we finish the second half of the season, the way all the Jet fans want to see, so, we know Glenn's obviously the guy, it obviously puts the franchise in a tough spot, because for us to finish the second half of the season with a decent record, it is going to require good quarterback play. So if Fields can go out there and produce every week, then it's like, okay, well, how do we fully assess this? Because, the first half of the season, we had back-to-back weeks where he put up under 50 pass yards. Like that was the consistency we saw back-to-back weeks. So it's like now we're, maybe I'm looking for the, other side of it where I could get maybe back-to-back good games. But the whole thing I'm looking for is, I mean, I said it earlier in the season, I'm going to still say it now, is you saw the Steelers game. We had a great offense. Fields was playing as confident as can be. But in all fairness, in that game, if you ask me why we lost, it was turnovers, right? The turnovers ruined that game ultimately. Why we won today? It's because our offense and the special teams didn't have any turnovers. So Fields today looked like he did in the Steelers game to me. He was playing confident. He was moving with his swagger. You saw it on that 2-point conversion. He just ran through like that. You can tell when he's playing with confidence. And when he does play with confidence, he has potential to be a good quarterback. So that's the biggest thing is, it's like how much can you put on the offensive coordinator and the coaching staff to get that out of him before, you have to put it back on the quarterback's shoulders where it's like, at the end of the day, this is your fifth year in the league. Like, at some point, we have to stop blaming the offensive coordinator and saying, well, he needs to play to the strength of his quarterback. And you can tell, Engstrom, I think he's doing a great job. I think today he put great calls in there. And I think even the last couple weeks when Fields was struggling, there were reads there. There were throws to be made. There were read options that Fields should have kept, but he didn't. And that's a lack of confidence. So I just take it as, less pressure on Engstrom. And I think now, especially after this week, with the way Wudi, criticized Fields and he responded, is, it's a test of Fields where it's like he's basically playing for his career at this point. Like he is playing the last half of the season because he's probably going to be the starter going forward, obviously. He is going to play the rest of the season where you're either going to earn a starting spot, if that maybe does turn out to be the Jets, if we go miraculously 10-7, say that happens. Okay, then yeah, maybe you're going to want to bring Fields back. I don't see it happening, but maybe it does. But even if you don't, you might earn a starting spot somewhere else. Or, if he goes out there and we see that inconsistency and he goes out there, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, and he has 40 yards at half, it's like, well, you're basically ensuring you're going to be a backup the rest of your career. Which, it's nothing against backups, but that's why I'm just saying with him, like indirectly, because I feel like as Jet fans, it's a great win. We're all happy. But that is the question that's in the back of our head is, okay, we're happy we won, but let's not, get over ourselves right now. Like we are 1-7. And a good reason of that is quarterback play. Like I said, there was penalties at the beginning, couple weeks, or turnovers, but it is definitely a question that we all have to keep in the back of our heads going forward. So I could see how it's definitely hard to balance, but I'm definitely going to enjoy this win the rest of my Sunday.
Literally, I'm like, I was jumping around like we won the Super Bowl. This is our Super Bowl right now. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was down bad. And I even tweeted out earlier this morning, I was like, the football gods knew to not have both my teams play the same week because the Arizona Wildcats had a bye week. So I'm like, all right, I only got to worry about the Jets. Then the Jets have a bye week next week. So I'm like, oh, I only got to worry about the Arizona Wildcats. So I was like, they clearly favor me. And you know what? It's good that for the next couple weeks, we get to live off of this win. I think if it was a loss, I would have probably been more down bad. I wouldn't have been excited to see how they're going to come out the back half of the season. And the New York Jets are doing typical New York Jets things, which is just when you're about to be completely out, they know how to suck you right back in. So I'm going to definitely celebrate the win. It is, I for once can just Jets fans now, let's just all be on one coherent page and be excited. Let's not start talking about, see, I told you about Justin Fields or XYZ. Let's just enjoy the win, okay? Like this is a rare occasion for us. Let's just enjoy the win. Finally, we get a victory Monday. My God, I can't remember the last time that we've had one. So let's enjoy the win. And again, I'm hoping for the best. I don't think we're gonna go 10-7. That would be great if we did. Not saying it's not possible because again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the year, that this is supposed to be dare I say, easier half of our schedule. You know what I mean? But when you can upset a team like the Bengals, who, I mean, they have a very good offense. They have they had so many weapons on this team. I was like, who are they going to even try and stop? You know what I mean? They got Higgins, you got everyone. You know what I mean? You even have to worry about Joe Flacco scoring a TD. Crazy. So again, just the team. I did see while we were on the locker room and Aaron Glenn in his speech. So I'm sure you guys will check this out after. But Gonna enjoy the win. Gonna enjoy my Sunday, and then I get to enjoy next Sunday too because no Jets football. So
Hey,
I
that's the
have a
best.
stress-free Sunday.
Yes. Definitely enjoying the Sunday. I didn't even tell my son the Jets were playing. He came over to me because I didn't even like put it on the TV or nothing. I was watching on my laptop. He came over. He was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, the Jets are playing." And he looked at the score. It was like 24-38. He was like, "Oh, they're losing like usual," and then walked away. And I never even told him to come back. That they went no, because I just felt like even after the 39-38, it's like, oh, that last drive, they're gonna drive down, they're gonna score a field goal. So don't even bring him into it. Of course, obviously, you already know that they won. So I did tell him like after once the whistle, the final whistle was blown, I counted to like 20, made sure no flags in the post game. Maybe they just throw a flag to somebody during the interview. And I was like, yeah, they won, but yeah, we're gonna enjoy it. Might have some beverages, Sunday fun day real quick. But yeah, take flight talk. We taking flight. We still don't have a confirmed day of the week, but look out, just look out for us. Just keep that eye open. All right. Take flight talk, NY Jets, Mykal K, on those channels. We got our full episodes on YouTube on those two channels, and of course our individual work. We're active AF. All right, TikTok, Instagram, all those different things, and yeah, take flight, baby. Victory Monday.
Incoming. Always a pleasure, you guys.
Yes.
Yep.